So fast forward, now we're going to hear the story of Cam Reddish, as he was signed to Klutch Sports around 2021 when he joined the Knicks, until unfortunately he was not able to make an NBA team. And today, only at the age of 26, he finds himself playing overseas. It's crazy how he ended up being the missing piece that the Knicks needed in order to obtain Josh Hart. The toxic media coverage around the Knicks at the time kind of trolled the team as if they gave away a future Charlotte Hornets first round pick in order to get Cam, just to trade him away for Josh Hart. Fast forward today, not only it ended up working out, but Cam Reddish is unfortunately out the league.
That's the upside. The guys who develop, a lower draft pick, he's not a starter. Then there's the flip of that. And this comes off a news story that Cam Reddish, who signed with a Lithuanian team, didn't stick with a Lithuanian team. Now, I don't know if that means he left because he wanted to leave, or, I can't imagine he's not good enough to stick in Lithuania.
Max, is it really that he's not good enough to stay there, or does he lack the passion for the game when the game is not giving him the expected tangible returns that he's used to? Not every NBA player falls in love with the game for the same reasons. For some players, the game has always provided something before the love of it even showed up. Playing out there in Lithuania is not going to be as glamorous. So what happens when that player didn't necessarily have the passion for the game to begin with?
But he's an example of a guy who was a stud in the draft, right? And
before the draft, yes.
It didn't work out. Like, why is it that some guys work out and a guy like Cam Reddish, who passes the eyeball test, doesn't?
This is a tough one for me because I recruited Cam Reddish. I sat on his parents' couch, great family. He was always somebody that was just uber talented. I think sometimes, man, these young guys, they just get burnt out. It's a mental fatigue.
So Cam is not an example of, like, you also represented Ben Simmons, who for a minute looked like I thought, at one point, I think I came out on First Take back then. It was like, he's the best show in sports, right? Like, he's 6'10" with a handle and like great passer, and he couldn't shoot at all, but that looked like the only thing that was missing from him. And all of a sudden, it's like he fell off a cliff. So you're not and it was like
those are two different scenarios because the difference is everything that Ben wanted to happen for Ben happened for Ben. He was the #1 pick in the draft.
Check that.
He was the rookie of the year.
Check.
He was a perennial all-star.
Check.
He was all NBA.
Check. And
he got the max contract.
He got the second contract.
He got the max contract. In Cam's case, one.
So he got full, you're saying, by the time he got the second deal?
Yeah, well, you got to think. There's two ways to go about this. Either you love what the game brings you, or you love the game. And when you play this game for so long as a kid, and most kids don't say, "Oh, I want to get to the NBA and I want to be great in the NBA for 15 years." No, they dream of making it to the NBA. And so you're going up that mountain. Some guys get up that mountain and say,
well, I think it depends. I think it depends. You're talking about what is your mountain, right?
Yes, but here's what I'm saying. I want to finish my point. The point I'm trying to make is some guys get there and be like, okay, good. I got up here. Now I'm going to go back down. Some guys get there and like, okay, now I want to go higher. And that's the difference. Like in Cam's case, I truly believe this. And I think Cam, again, I watched this kid score 50 of the easiest points. I mean, me and Mav was together, and Mav was like, damn, that looked easy.
I was sure he was going to be a great NBA scorer.
And I was
sure
like,
he was going to be.
It did. 6'9", fluid. But, when he got to college, he got there, and he was there with RJ, and he was there with Zion.
Yep.
So he was kind of like the third guy that could do something mentally to you. Just mentally, right? Confidence. Our game is 90% mental. When you get to the NBA, everyone's uber talented.
So wait, you're saying that Cam, it's not an issue of he didn't love the game?
I don't know. No, I don't think it's an issue of that. I don't know what the issue is. I'm just giving you what I suspect, being in it and being around all of these kids since they've been young. I'm just giving you the journey. That part happens. Then you go to the draft, right? And you know, all this whole time, this is why I don't really love mock drafts. You're looking and you're supposed to be a top 5 pick. Well, you go 10. And not only do you go 10, you go 10 to a team that just took a player that is from your city or from your area that you were supposed to be ranked better than the whole time.
Yep. The Hawks drafted DeAndre Hunter. And not only that, I believe he started over Cam.
In front of you at 4, DeAndre Hunter went 4. So now you got 2 guys that play the same position on the same team.
And that Hawks team that Cam got drafted to was already crowded at that forward position. They had John Collins. They had, I believe, Bogdan. They had a lot of guys. Even Gallinari was on that team, but that forward position was very crowded.
And then you get traded.
Wow. He got traded to a team where the coach and Tibbs did not want to play him. That's really where it looked like, from the outside looking in, that Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose had a slight difference in viewpoint on who to give minutes to.
You got 2 guys that play the same position on the same team, and then you get traded.
Hey, that could have really fucked with him mentally, because when he got traded and Josh Hart came to the Knicks, not only Hart got major burn, but he had major impact on that team. So who knows? It could have fucked with Cam mentally.
You're saying it's circumstance.
It's circumstance,
Rich,
yes.
How much of it is circumstance and how much of it is... This happens to me evaluating college quarterbacks all the time. I'm horrible at it because I look at him in college, I'm like, that he's going to be... And it doesn't turn out that way. Sometimes it's that what you can do at a certain level of competition. Like you can hit AAA pitching, but in the majors, you just can't do it the same way. I suspect that there's something about Cam Reddish's game that just didn't translate on the same level that it looked like it was going to translate when he was in college.
I would say it's the speed. Every time he drove in the lane, it looked like he was shocked that certain guys were already there to contest him. He just wasn't used to that, I guess, on the amateur circuit. In retrospect, the speed probably caught up with him since his college days, but it was slower, and it fully caught up by the time he got into the league.
You know, because if you're saying it's not an issue of the love of the game,
No,
then I think
it's the other thing.
Then you would rise.
Now, right there, you heard Rich Paul confirm. I think it was the other thing, aka it's the speed.
I suspect that there's something about Cam Reddish's game that just didn't translate on the same level that it looked like it was going to translate when he was in college. You know, because if you're saying it's not an issue of the love of the game,
no,
then I think
it's the other thing.
Then you would rise above the circumstance.
Yes, but sometimes some guys need, along with the opportunity, a little TLC.
Mm-hmm.
They need a little TLC. And the problem with the NBA is, or any league for that matter, but especially in the NBA, there's a draft every year. The higher you go in the draft, the higher the expectation, and right away, right? Now, again.
And these kids are coming with very little college or no college now.
If I'm a lottery pick, 2 things can happen when you're a lottery pick. You either lottery pick and your team, you're able, if you go to a bad team, let's just say, call it when I say bad team, a team that's not vying for contending in any way. You're there. The GM that drafted you, they're there too, right? So they picked you. And they're going to want to see you develop. They're going to want to invest in you.
Now, that's another thing about Cam Reddish. That GM that drafted him from the Hawks, he was actually one of the assistant GMs on that Golden State team from 2016. So he was trying to imitate that formula when he went to Atlanta. They don't call it a copycat league for no reason. Once he found out that formula was not going to work, just chasing that Stephen Curry formula with Trae Young, he abandoned the ship real quick.
Some guys' talent and production outlasts the GM. The GM could change. That player's still
but
there.
But if the GM goes and you're stuck there,
right?
And
or if you get traded to another team, well, that GM didn't draft you. They're taking you back in the trade. They're taking they're taking a flyer on you.
Hey, great insight right there from Rich Paul. The Knicks were definitely taking a flyer on Cam Reddish. But it is what it is. This Cold War podcast, launched by Klutch Sports to combat a lot of the arrows coming in from the LA media, has provided a lot of fucking gems with some of the sentiments that camp is feeling at the moment, because their next move could possibly pay huge dividends for another team. Surprisingly, a lot of praise is coming from Rich Paul when it comes to the CAA Knicks. Make no mistake about it, every single topic discussed on this show is carefully crafted. But right here, Rich Paul gives further insight into how players could easily become disconnected from their teammates or just an overall franchise, not only due to the influx of money that's coming in, but also them assembling their own teams of trainers, chefs, etc. A lot of the camaraderie that can happen off the court, like going out to eat together, those situations behind the scenes are starting to look like things of the past.
This is why I talk about the ecosystem of an athlete. Man, the NBA season is a roller coaster. Being a guy, especially if you're a role guy, you can play at home. Fine, play at home. If you're a marquee guy, don't play at home. Because every night is tickets, depending on how many family members you got. And for every one family member you got, they got 3 friends. Right?
It's just a whole other job.
These tickets aren't free. Then when you leave out that locker room, man, you just may want to go home to your family. You may not want to see nobody, not even your agent for that matter. I just had this conversation. Me, Draymond, DeAnthony Melton, and Jimmy Butler were talking. And this was an opportunity for me to ask them. And I did. And I said, obviously I represent Draymond. I do not represent Jimmy. I do not represent
You just said a
DeAnthony.
magic word that reminded me of something, but go ahead. Yeah.
But I asked him a question. I said, hey, man, take me through the course of your day. And if it's a game day, when do you want to see your representation? Do you want to see the representation before the game, after the game, etc.? And they all had different answers. The reason why I asked that is because the league has totally changed. When I first came in the league 24 years ago, it was simple. You go to the game, after the game, you go to a steakhouse, and that was it. Now, they don't want to go eat. Guys have chefs. It's a different dynamic. So where are you spending the time? I see a lot of people, especially agents, with I don't know how many of those earbuds Apple has sold, but everybody got them in, and I talk to so many people a day. You can't be talking that much. And it's like, when do you want to see, anybody for that matter? I was just putting myself in that position to better myself, but I'm saying in terms of...
You know why everyone has chefs now, right? And they used to live in a steakhouse? Because 24 years ago, you were dealing with one level of player. 24 years later, you're dealing with everyone having chefs.
I think it's being educated. Because here's the thing. Guys may come out and as a rookie, and it's like, oh man, chef costs $75,000 or $100,000, depending on what city you live in. Somebody may say to you, that's too much money. That's not, if I'm investing in myself.
Especially since you're going to spend that in the restaurants anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. And, that cook at the restaurant or the chef at the restaurant, he hasn't met with your nutritionist on your team to understand what you're allergic to, all those type of things. So anyway, the other part about playing at home, that whether you play at home or not, that you don't necessarily get to see, is now I have to live up, not just so much as live up, everything is brought with me, right? Everything is brought with me. My high school stuff, my muni league stuff, it's just
it's a mess.
It's just so much. This is why international players actually have it better.
Because all that stuff is left behind.
They don't have... American players come into the NBA weighing more than they actually weigh.
Carrying a lot of weight.
It's a lot, man.
Not to mention, oftentimes they have to bring a generation out of poverty, too.
Yes, I'm not talking about family. I'm talking about it's just a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Period. And there's no metric for that. There's no metric for that. And you cannot, if you had a broke arm, you got a cast on. Leg, you got a cast on. If you had whiplash, you got a neck brace on, etc. But when your brain is fractured a little bit, or even if it's a hairline fracture, we can't see that. And the average person is saying, I'm good. And from an athlete perspective, just taught to be macho and, this and that. Playing at home adds a whole nother layer to that.
So
We haven't
you
even gotten to winning
so
or
you
losing.
wouldn't want AD to go to Chicago. You
Max,
saying,
I'm not getting into any of that.
What you just said was, if you're a role player, go home. AD is not a role player.
I don't want any marquee player. I wouldn't. I can't control it, because obviously, if they got the money and they want to pay and the guy chooses to want to go there, then great. What I'm saying is, I would rather a marquee player not play in his hometown unless they could handle everything that comes with it, because there are some benefits. It's all based upon how you manage it.
But it is what it is. When you add on that new NBA scheduling where it's a game every other day, it only complicates things, because guys are just now more further into their own silos. You're talking about a schedule where it could just last weeks at a time, where you have a game, then a travel day, game, travel day, game, travel day. There's already not enough time for these teams to get practices in. So players have a more one-on-one situation with their own personal trainers, medical staff, etc. Check out right here as LeBron James gives great insight to how everyone is just hovering around their own silos with their own medical staff, trainers, etc. We could say the blueprint really started with him. LeBron James has had a great positive impact on the way players move around the league. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
I walked in the training room the other day after a game, and I have to really be sore or whatever, but I rarely go into the training room and get like a leg flush after a game. Yeah. We play like a lot of games, and I went in there after the game just get like a 20-minute flush before I started my ice and treatment and whatever. There's a lot of people in there. Listen, I was a little overwhelmed.
You said that nicely.
There's a fucking ton of people in there, man. It was like 5 guys.
Yeah.
It was 5 guys on the team. It was like 25 people in the training room.
Right.
Like
we
7
need to
doctors.
Redesign our buildings.
Yeah, it's like 7 doctors, 7 or 8 doctors.
Yeah.
10 medical team staff, 4 or 5 massage therapists. Like, it was like 25. I was like, oh man. And it was loud too.
Right.
Like, I was like, I need my headphones.
It's like a clinic.
Yeah, it was like a clinic. Like, I was walking into like the emergency at like UCLA.
Yeah, right. The pit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So right there, you can see how players could easily venture off and just become disconnected from the team. That off-the-court camaraderie is really not the same anymore. For Ben Simmons, him making all that damn money, it's fairly obvious how disconnected he was from his team, even that footage with him showing up to that practice with his cell phone in his pocket. Very unfortunate, but at the end of the day, there's a graveyard of just highly talented players that came across the league and never really hitting their potential.